Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, as Rose just said, we just got out here, settling these guys in. We practiced this morning, um, practiced for about 45 minutes, trying to get prepared for Nebraska. Um, you know, guys feeling good, feeling confident after a good win on the road in Maryland. Um, which actually I found out I think made us 500 since our pause, which I give these guys a lot of credit because it's a tough thing to do. Stuck together the whole year, and now it's tournament time, and that's what I said all along. We finished tied for 10th. Let the smoke clear, find out who your matchup is, and then get to work. So that's where we're at right now. Guys are excited to get to the floor tomorrow night.
Mark Brennan, let's start with you. Tanyan Loose, you're on deck.
Hey, Jim, thank you for your time.
Hey, Mark.
I'm sorry. I think we were playing tag on the mute there, Rose. I apologize.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Jim, what are your big picture goals going into this tournament? Can you afford to look at it as anything other than just beat Nebraska? And then one other question, have you been given any indication on what you need to do to qualify for some sort of postseason thing? Because everything is so up in the air this year. Thanks, man.
Yeah. To answer the first question, we've stayed present all year, and it's one day at a time and one game at a time. Tournament situations, it's survive in advance, and you got to play well that night. So our focus is totally on Nebraska, who's actually been playing really good basketball down the stretch. We split with those guys, so our focus is just to stay fresh, be ready, and make any type of adjustments that we have to make during that game, because it's all that matters is that basketball game. That's the only one you got. And then in regards to tournament stuff, looking at it's a crazy year, right? But our numbers are really good. Obviously, it's about winning games. If we can win as many games as we can and give ourselves a chance at the NCAA tournament, and then at not, are we eligible for the NIT, or do they choose us to go to the NIT? Then we'll look at all that when that happens. But right now, the focus is just on Nebraska.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go next to Tanyan Loose, then Elton Hayes, you'll be on deck.
Coaches, I'm sure you're well aware of that Teddy Allen is no longer with the Nebraska program. How do you guys kind of not overlook Nebraska, given that they're the last seed in the tournament and now are without one of the best players in the league? Kind of, how do you not let your guard down and let them slip past?
Tanyan, I don't know if you've seen them play. Obviously, I watched all their games. I think their first game without Teddy Allen, they beat Rutgers by like 30. Teddy's a real talented basketball player, really gifted kid with the ball, but their offense has been playing so much better that he's not there. The ball just moves. It's not sticking. They become much harder to defend. They're flying around the place. They've had some wins. So they're still a good team, even without Teddy. So I think our guys respect them. Obviously, we lost at home in a close game, and we won on the road in a close game. So we have great respect for them.
Elton Hayes, let's come over to you. And then Justin Morgenstein, you'll be on deck.
Jim, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Not a problem, no.
Well, Coach, I don't want to, get too ahead of ourselves here, but, we've made it through the regular season, the Big Ten regular season. You all had a pause along with a couple of the programs, but there seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel here with the conference tournament starting and then the national tournament starting in a couple weeks. Just wanted to hear your thoughts overall on the job that the Big Ten specifically has done, and the job that your staff has done with kind of managing things and getting everything to this point. Are you surprised that you're here right now where you are with everything that's been going on with COVID?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but I didn't really know what to expect. I think our league and our university did an outstanding job. Everybody set the protocols. We followed them. There were a couple of blips, with us and a couple of teams, but I think our league handled it the best in the country. And then the ability to reschedule as much as possible for these guys to play games, I thought was outstanding. And we're going to continue to follow our protocols. We PCR the other day, we got tested again today. We're going to get tested every day we're out here. I just saw something on the news, something about Kansas. McCormick, one of their best players, isn't allowed to play in a conference tournament because of COVID protocol. So knock on wood, hopefully we can get through this tournament with every team intact, and then hopefully everybody can move on and the NCAA tournament has the success that we've had so far. But I think everybody's done a great job with it. And, you know, that gives me an opportunity again to thank everybody that's been involved, the sacrifices that were made from the administration, from the workers, from the nurses, the players, to, you know, to have a season. And I mean, you know, when you look at it, we came up just one game shy from playing the original conference schedule. So I think everybody did a great job with it.
Justin Morgenstein, let's come to you. Dave Melendra, you'll be on deck.
Jim, I'm curious, in a tournament, you know, with as many good teams as this one has, how hard is it for you as a coach, you know, not only to prepare, but to make sure that your guys are, you know, psychologically in the right headspace, given, you know, all the pressure that comes with playing in Indy?
Yeah, I mean, greatest league in college basketball, maybe the greatest league this year that's ever been, the amount of teams. I mean, I just looked at the first, second, third team all league players and the honorable mention players. Like, there's guys on the second team all Big Ten that are going to be NBA players. That's phenomenal. It's a great league, and a tournament like this, man, you know, it's going to be so competitive. You're going to see some of the best basketball that college has to offer. I mean, with us, it's just focusing on what's in front of us, taking it one day at a time. I think we've won 2 out of our last 3. We won a great game on the road against a really good Maryland team. Our guys are coming in with a lot of confidence. I think we got, you know, fresh minds, fresh bodies. Our heads are clear. I think we're ready to go. So that's all you can ask for at this time of year. We're playing pretty good basketball down the stretch, and it's what you want to do.
Dave Melendra, let's come to you for a question, and then Nate Bauer, you're on deck.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about the way how your players have handled everything leading up to this conference tournament? And then on top of that, how can you build off your win over Maryland as you prepare for Nebraska?
You know, I think our guys have handled it as best they could. You know, we stayed positives. There was ups and downs. You know, I saw someone, right, well, we lost like 4 in a row. Like, everybody in this league has basically lost 4 in a row, maybe except for Michigan. I mean, it's a tough league, and our guys stayed mentally tough. We stayed strong. We stayed connected. We stayed together, and we kept fighting. Like I said, we've won 2 out of our last 3. Having a win like that on the road leading into the tournament, I think that's, you know, it's great. I think guys coming in with great momentum.
Nate Bauer, let's come to you. Tanyan Luce, you'll be on deck, and then Daniel Gallen, you'll follow Tanyan.
Hey, Jim,
Hey,
these tournaments are always kind of, you know, fan centric and frenzied, and the bands, and it's always kind of crazy. What do you expect this year? What do you anticipate? Just
put it on the list, right? It's just going to be different. I mean, obviously they are going to allow some people here. It's not going to be the same. You know, really ironic. You know, we're staying in the same hotel that we were in last year when we came out here. And I had the Indiana scout. So I went over to the game to watch Indiana, Nebraska, and the place was jumping. Obviously, Indiana was a local team. It was packed, great crowd. So I think it's going to be a little bit different, you know, but everything this year has been a little bit different. And like I said to our guys this morning in practice, ultimately what takes place inside the lines. That's it. All the emotion, you know, the seniors involved, there's emotions on both teams. It's about the game. You have to play the game. And I think everybody that's focused on that will give themselves a better chance instead of being focused on anything else that's going around out there.
Apologies, I think I just accidentally unmuted myself. Daniel Gallen, let's come to you. Tanyan Luce, did I miss you? I'm sorry, Tanyan. Are we went on?
Yeah, I can go whenever, it's fine.
No, go ahead and go. And then we've got Daniel Gallen and David Eckhart.
Okay. Coach, obviously a lot of people are going to have their eyes on Seth LeDay given his performance against Maryland. How has he looked in practice this week, and what is his mindset kind of coming into the tournament?
He floated into practice today. I mean, you know, he's playing with great confidence, as he should be. He played tremendous the other night. And yeah, I mean, people are going to be focused on him. And, you know, and that's what kind of happened at the beginning of the year when he went off. And I think Seth is, you know, hopefully found the niche where he's feeling comfortable and he's feeling confident, and just play the way he played the other night. Just shoot the basketball. That's what we need him to do, and defend and rebound. So I'm hoping he can continue it and keep it going.
Daniel Gallen, let's come to you, and then David Eckhart, you're on deck.
Hey, Jim, when you look at how you closed the season, you know, with the big comeback at Maryland, winning your last 2 games, you know, how do you make sure that momentum continues, you know, when you get into a tournament where it can be a bit of a reset with the format, with traveling and all being in one place? You know, how do you make sure that continues?
Well, again, I think that ultimately the guys are playing with confidence, and I think that's really important. Second thing is that we are, we're pretty well rested. I think we're have fresh minds and fresh bodies. And then again, like I addressed earlier, like we talked about it today, it's not about anything else that's going on. It's about, what's going on inside the lines and playing the game. So it's not about, the tournament setting. Everybody's 0-0. Who's your matchup? I've said it all year. The smoke is cleared. This is who we have, and let's focus on that. And it's not even about playing perfect basketball right now. It's about playing better basketball than the opponent right now. Tournament games have a lot of emotion. There's a lot of sways. You got to keep your poise. You got to make the proper adjustments. You got to keep everybody calm and focused on the task at hand.
Thanks, Coach. Just as a note, everyone keeps saying 2 out of 3. We also have won 3 of our last 4. Just as a note.
That sounds better.
Dave Eckert, let's come to you next. Elton Hayes, you're back on deck.
Hi, Jim. I just wanted to ask you how you think, the brand of basketball that you guys want to play suits a tournament style where there's the potential to play a few games in a row and, a few days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. We're a high-paced team. We're coming at you. We're going to be aggressive on both ends of the floor, and that's what you have to be. I mean, obviously, you're not going to change anything this time of year. It still comes down to defending and rebounding, and we have to play the way we play. We've rebounded better. I think we're the best offensive rebounding team in the conference. I think we're tops in steals in the conference, and we got to play the game at our pace. We got to get every game played at our pace. So I think if we do that, I think it fits pretty well.
Elton Hayes, let's come back to you for a question. Nate Bauer, you'll be on deck.
Coach, I wanted to kind of go back to the things that have happened over the last year. The pandemic has obviously made it very difficult with some of coaching in the traditional sense more challenging than it's been in the past. Wanted to know what innovations that you and your staff have maybe implemented over this past year that you could see maybe carrying forward next year, just with, coaches in basketball, any new technology or just innovations that might be helpful moving forward that the pandemic kind of.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Zoom has been great. I never heard of Zoom until the pandemic, and I'm not very handy with computers, but I know how to Zoom. No, I mean that technology has been great. The biggest thing is the flexibility. You have to be flexible. I think that's the one thing that we all as coaches learned. We have to adapt to things quickly, adapt to change. Who's practicing today, who's not practicing today. So the mental health side of it, really understanding, having a connection and keeping a pulse on your team of where they're at. I was talking to a friend of mine in the business last night. One of my former athletic directors is a friend of mine. And, we were both just sharing like how different it was and really how difficult it was for the players. And I just don't think people truly understand. Like the fans are watching on TV, they're still fans. They just want to see the game of basketball played. But, it was so different for these guys and not being able to see their families and not being able to hang out with their friends and having a pause. You really had to have a pulse on that. And I think we did a great job of that as a staff and really adjusting on the fly. And I think that the flexibility is something that I think will help us all as coaches. Certainly with myself, who's a very, organized person, being able to flip it, man. All right, this practice I put together today, I thought was going to be great. And then I sensed in the first 5 minutes, nope, that's not going to work. Let's go. Let's quickly change to something else so we can at least get better today and get a vibe from these guys.
Thanks, Coach. Let's come to Nate Bauer, then Tanya and Luce, you've got a question.
Jim, you just touched on it, but obviously you felt like legs were an issue against Purdue. Anything go into feeling well rested going into this? Did you change your approach at all?
We've really shortened our practices up over the last couple of weeks. We got back from Maryland 1:30 in the morning. So we didn't practice yesterday. Yesterday. I don't even know what day it is. Monday, we didn't practice. We had to get up early to get tested though. So it wasn't like you get the normal sleep. Guys had to get up for class, but I kind of gave them that day to rest their legs, rest their bodies, rest their minds. And this morning, we practiced probably about 45 minutes, 40 of it, 35 of it, where we actually got up and down the court. Just trying to keep fresh minds, fresh bodies. Jamari's yelling at me. come on, coach, let us go. Let us go. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're only going up and down for this amount of time. I've got experience with this. I know what I'm doing. Let's keep it a little bit shorter today so we have some juice. So again, and you know, the important part, again, we're focusing on just our opponent that's in front of us. But playing at 9 o'clock at night, you know, the things we do, if we win this game tomorrow, the things that we do quickly right after that game are really important. The nutrition, the rest, the ice baths, all that stuff to recover. Thankfully, we won't have to play again till 9 the next night if we're fortunate enough to win the game. So, you know, we just got to really be smart with everything.
Tanyan Luce, let's come to you for a question. And then unless there are any other questions that come up here, Dave Melender will have the last question of today's session. Nate Bauer, you'll be the last question of today's session.
Coach, I think a common theme in a lot of your games this season has been runs, whether it's you guys going on a run or the other team going on a run. How much is that a product of kind of your dependency on the three, or do you think that's more so just kind of failing to get into a flow on offense? And how do you as a coach kind of help your team get out of a shooting strut like that?
Yeah, well, part of it, a big part of it is you're playing in the Big Ten. I mean, these teams are great teams. You know, we're a little bit smaller than certain teams, you know. Runs happen in basketball games. That's what they are. We're also a team that, you know, we have the ability to make up points quickly. We can score in spurts, which is what makes us dangerous, which is what we showed the other night, you know, and that's one of the reasons where I don't think we really ever added a game this year. You know, the Purdue game, again, that was a bad one, and at Illinois is coming out of the pause. Besides that, we've been in every game. We steal the basketball, we defend and rebound. When we do those things well, we always have the ability to go in spurts and score it. Now, you know, I'd love to be more consistent, but it's how this team is built. It's who we are as a team. And I think we've done a pretty good job of really playing to our strengths. And then over the second half of the season, John Harris has become a huge factor for us interior-wise. So we're able to go inside a little bit, maybe when we're not scoring and making shots where we can get to the foul line.
Dave Melender, let's come to you, and then Nate Bauer, you'll wrap up this session with Coach Ferry.
Hey, Coach, what can you take away from your 2 games against Nebraska? Anything particular that stood out?
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a 40-minute battle. You know, the game at our place was ugly, low scoring. Game at their place was electric and high scoring, but ultimately they came down to 1-possession games. And, you know, that's what I anticipated being tomorrow. You know, the team that, you know, limits turnovers, limits mistakes, defends and rebounds, going to give themselves a chance to win this game. You know, my big thing come tournament time is on the offensive end is got to make layups and free throws, because everything else is going to be really difficult. Rose, you're muted.
Sorry. Nate Bauer, let's come to you for the last question of today.
Jim, I apologize in advance if I word this clumsily, but has this year felt like an audition for you? Like, I guess I don't know what it feels like to be an interim. And, you know, you've said before that you wanted to be considered for the job. Obviously, they're going to have a decision to make whenever the, you know, the final buzzer sounds on this season. Where have you stood, I guess, kind of throughout?
Yeah, you know, I didn't know what it was like to be an interim either. So I was me. I didn't look at it as an audition. My job was to help these guys. And I think myself and staff, we did everything we could to help these guys, to give them a great experience, the best experience possible, to get them better, to win games. I'm a coach. So I am who I am. I never changed. You know, I've said it earlier, I was never going to use this platform to try to politic for the job. Like, decision's going to be made. It's out of my control. My focus has been on these guys, and my focus will continue to be on these guys until they tell me differently, or until our season ends. It's about helping these guys, and that's what I'm going to do.